Is the food that we're consuming killing us? Are we what we eat? Well, this video is going to talk about that. This video is all about nutrition, good habits, and why are we not taking responsibility?
There was a documentary that I watched on, it was either Prime or Netflix, and it was about what we eat and how it affects your health. And then you think that that should be, public, the number one priority for the public and for the governments. And it's not, because like you said, it produces revenue. And I mean, I'm not saying that, there are evil companies that everyone can do whatever they want. However, it's our health and it's our well-being. So
sugar
back, that power.
Yes. And we are all ultimately responsible for our health, but sugar is more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah.
And it is shoved in our bread, it's popped in our, if you buy a ready meal, it will have added sugar because the companies know that it makes you want more. And
absolutely.
It's just appalling, really, because sugar is the number one thing that can affect your health.
Yeah. And with fast foods, and that's why, like, for example, I don't have anything against McDonald's here, but I stopped eating things like McDonald's or like, those kind of fast food restaurants, because why? You go into a place like this and anyone can try it. You go and eat a burger or a meal like they have, you will be hungry half an hour later because there are no nutrients that your body has absorbed. You want another one, or perhaps to carry on eating, and it's just that vicious circle. You're just chewing. There is no nutrients going in, so literally you're wasting money. You're affecting your body because you're just adding calories for no reason. And things stop tasting as good as they do when you actually realize, well, it's not actually helping me.
Yeah. Right. And you can adjust your taste buds. That's what amazes me. Yeah. I never thought I'd be able to eat a homemade vegetable curry without rice, but I can. I just eat it with lots of lovely vegetables and things in, and it's delicious. And you're not hungry because your body is satisfied because you've given it the nutrients it requires. The more plant-based food you can eat as well, it feeds the microbiome in your gut. So your gut is 70% of your immune system is in your gut. And your microbiome is a very delicate thing. It's got good and bad bacteria. And the more bad you have, which you will get from your fast foods, your animal-based products, and the balance will be out of kilter and you'll be poorly. You'll start feeling ill. You'll get things like type 2 diabetes or whatever. But all of those things, there's an amazing book, 2 books actually I can recommend. One is called 10% Human.
Okay.
By, I think her name is Alana Hamilton. But if you just Google 10% Human,
I will add it on the link below.
Yes, add it on the link. It's all about the microbiome. Okay. And the other one is called the China Study, and it's a big, thick book like this, and it's hard going, but it is full of scientific research that showed people reversing chronic heart conditions, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, obviously, one is a genetic thing, acid reflux, sleep apnea, and some doctors in America, they were working in big practices, which obviously out there is big money, big bucks. And people were going in with heart disease, and this doctor had found out all this about reversing it using diet. So he'd say to his patients, look, are you prepared to try something that would avoid you having to have surgery? And they'd say, yeah. So they would go away and they would get better. But this guy got the sack because the doctor's practice said, no, we need these people to have surgery because
it's more expensive.
And you just think, oh my goodness. So the China Study and 10% Human. 10% Human is all about the microbiome, and there's loads of research showing things like obesity, people putting on weight because they haven't got the right gut bacteria.
Okay.
So not even linked to eating too much or laziness or anything else. It's because you haven't. And you can have a bad balance in your gut because maybe as a child you suffered tonsillitis and you were given course after course after course of antibiotics.
So that has actually, as a consequence, it affects the digestion and then the way your body works afterwards. Interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, because if you think about it, antibiotics are to kill bacteria, but they don't know which are the good ones and which are the bad ones. They just kill all the gut bacteria.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it's such a fascinating topic. And because of my radio broadcasting, I do so much research when I've got a guest coming in. And what I love is the fact that there are so many national health doctors who are leaving the health service and setting up their own practice. So there's one guy who runs the Vitality Clinic in Weybridge. He was an NHS doctor for about 35 years. And he got to the stage where he said, all we're doing is treating symptoms.
But you're not actually curing anybody.
Cause, that's right. And so he now runs this clinic and sends out great emails, and probably a little bit technical in some parts, but just amazing information on how you can protect yourself. And we don't want to dwell on what's happening in the world at the moment, but do you know, just by taking a vitamin D tablet every day reduces your chance of getting COVID. And even if you do catch it, you are less likely to be ill.
No, but I think vitamin D also affects your mood and how you feel. It's unbelievable how many times, if you are, regardless of whether it's vitamin D or any other vitamin, if you've got a deficiency, it affects your body in so many different ways, and you might not realize it.
Yeah.
Like if you're feeling tired, it might mean that you're low in iron or zinc, which it can, it's one of those things that you don't think on a day-to-day basis, but then it is so important just to make sure that you have that kind of balanced diet. And then it's just because there's just so much information out there, and it's overwhelming. So we because it's so difficult, we do nothing.
No, absolutely, it is overwhelming, and it just sort of, what's the word, poleaxes you to thinking, I don't know what to do. I mean, it's sometimes better if you just focus on one thing at a time. So if you've got trouble with sleep, there's so much you can do. You could be deficient in magnesium. You could be watching too many screens right up until bedtime. You could be drinking coffee or caffeine too late in the day. You could meditate, walk more, drink more water. There's all these things that you can do to improve your sleep.
What I like about what you just said, and I think it's a very, very good point. And I think when people are changing their habits, they try to do everything. They will try to start taking a lot of vitamins, meditating, they switching off the screen. They'll do everything in a week, and guess what? It won't last more than a week. It's too much.
It's too much.
I always tell people you have to start with one thing. So if it's about your vitamins, increase your vitamins and make sure that you're having a few different ones, and make sure that you can include foods with those vitamins as well. Try it for about 30 days, 60 days, until it becomes a habit. Once that's a habit, it's part of your routine, move on to something else.
That's right.
And then you will feel, but everything's a process. We want things to happen straight away. Things don't happen straight away.
No,
take time.
Write a list of all of your issues, whether it's bad skin, sleep, whatever, and then choose your top 3, and maybe and whether you focus on 1 or 3 will depend on what they are. So if it's sleep, you could focus on that with something else because it's likely to be linked. But there's a great book called The Slight Edge. Now, who's that by? Again, if you Google it, it's years old, and it's a very, very, it's a bestseller. But The Slight Edge, Jeff Olson, it's by Jeff Olson. And he talks about the success and the failure curve. And he said, if you go to the gym every day for 60 days, or 3 times a week for 60 days, you will see a slight improvement. But on that first week, you're not going to notice any difference.
No improvement whatsoever.
And it says, and it's the same if you don't go to the gym one day, you're not going to notice any difference. But if you don't go to the gym for 30 days, that curve's going to start going downwards. And it's the same with anything in your life. It's baby steps. Take little baby steps and improve one thing.
No, absolutely. I think it's super important just to take it easy. And yes, just find out what your priority is, because at the end of the day, you know, it's not about, yes, you want to improve your overall health, but you have to look at what's the pressing matter. So if you've got any pains, any illnesses, that's probably a very good point to start from.
Yeah.
Because it will affect everything in your life.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. If you've got pain, you start there. And so far this year, I've coached 5 ladies through our 30 days program. And with them, I always get them to build up to it. So it's making sure there's no temptation in the house. It's making sure you're stocked up with all the healthy things, prepping your food in advance, because if your food is prepared in advance and all prepped and you know what you're having on every day for every meal, which ends up taking you minutes, then you're less likely to stray and eat the bad foods. And then once you've got your body back, you've given your body a kickstart, which is what the program I help these ladies with does. Then I say, okay, do that for a couple of months. And then you can have it where I eat really, really well most of the time. But then last night, because I've got a very emotional day today because my son's moving out into his own place.
I'm sorry about that.
I know, he said, Mum, I'm going to buy you a takeaway. And so we had, and again, I had Thai food, I had a vegetable curry and rice, so it wasn't exactly unhealthy. And I had a glass of wine, but that's probably the second glass of wine I've had in about 6 weeks, because I just, you know, beginning of the year, I like to completely reset my body. And I think this is what you can do. If you can do that reset for a couple of months, then you can have a blowout once a week. You could have a if pizza's your thing, I'm so grateful I don't really like pizza. You know, if pizza's your thing, or if I try and say not to go to the sweet things, the chocolate and that, because once you have one, you really will want more. But yeah, just find the method that works for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think I agree 100%. I think everything more in moderation. When I used to coach people, I would never say you have to go on a very strict diet. You have to think about what's your lifestyle and what you want. Once you have those two things, then you incorporate things into it. But everything, it has to be easy, and it has to be, obviously, you know, you have to start eating mindfully and doing things mindfully, which means, you know, start questioning what you do and why. Is that giving you the results that you want? If it's a no, then you know that you need to change it.
Yes,
it's just as simple as that. And with food, again, are you eating foods that, do you feel more energized? Do you feel, you know, that you have energy for a long period of time? If it's a no, again, it's the incorrect food. So
and you know, that's one of the sessions I run on my Friday. So I have Living Beautifully with Jill Bennett, Look Good, Feel Great sessions on a Friday, and one of them that I run every sort of 5 or 6 weeks is about energy. Absolutely. Because I'm married to someone who for years used to get up every day and go, oh, I'm tired. And it was only when I finally got him out in Mallorca with me, not having business lunches and everything else, and he lost a stone. And he was cycling and this, that and the other, and he, you know, he'd been taking acid reflux medication, he had sleep apnea, got rid of all that because he was stuck with me eating my food, my plant-based whole foods. And when we went out, he would have, you know, he'd have meat or he'd have fish or something.
But it's not as often, and it's not every day.
It's not every day. His whole health turned around, and he's not this man getting up saying he's tired every morning. Probably a little bit of stress reduction as well, because
that's one of the things, that stress actually affects how your body digests foods, and whether, you know, you're absorbing all those nutrients, because you can be having plant-based foods, lots of vitamins, but if you're super stressed, your skin is not going to absorb the nutrients that you need, and all your body in general.
I think you can handle it better. I mean, I use meditation, and I don't have an awful lot of stress in my life, but I go through periods, you know, like I'm buying a house at the moment, and that to me is waiting for solicitors, and this, that and the other is quite stressful. So medication, mindfulness is such a powerful thing. And there's a great free app you can get called, well, there's a couple. There's one called, one's called Insight Timer. Which is, they have thousands of free meditations, and you can pick the right one for you. And the other one is, I bet I haven't got it on here now. Oh, the other one is called, it's very, very common.
Is it Calm?
There is Calm as well. Yeah,
Okay.
Calm's lovely.
Okay.
But there's mine. Wish I could remember what it. I'll think about it and then we can put it in the link. But it's got a beginner's guide to meditation.
Okay.
So you can get it free for something like 7 days, and it gives you a little video every day that explains meditation to you and what's happening in the brain.
That's excellent for beginners. So someone
It's
that's
very
never
much for
meditated in the past,
Yeah.
and you don't know where to start. That could be amazing. No, you know what? I don't think. No, I know stress is not a bad thing. Stress is important because it is our survival. I mean, you know, stress happens. Stress is a response. So it's a flight or flight, right? So flight or fight response to something, to some circumstance. And if we didn't have stress, then obviously, you know, you need. Let's say if you have a deadline.
Yes.
The deadline is very good because it makes you productive. You know that you have to, you know, and it's just how much stress you have in your body.
It's just how much. I mean, you need to be able to, if you're crossing a road and suddenly a car whizzes around the corner, your body needs to go into that fight or flight and run to the other side of the road. But then you also need your body to be able to immediately go into a zen-like state and reduce the stress in your body. And that's the good thing, if you meditate regularly, that you will be able to have that stress response, but you'll also be able to reduce it. The same as exercise. What you want is to be able to exercise and increase your heart rate and build that. Your heart is just a muscle, build that up, but you want to be able to get your heart rate straight back down again afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Jill, thank you so much. I think we've had a very good session, and I think a lot of people are going to get so much information from this talk.
There you have it, guys. Feel good, look great, living beautiful with Jill Bennett. There are multiple days and it's free to attend every single Friday. Join Jill on these amazing conversations. I've left the link below, so go and check it out. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Tell me your opinions in the comments below. I would love to know. What do you do for your health? Are you taking responsibility for your health? Is there any good tips that you follow? Let me know. Let me know everything in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.